me open up these blinds a little bit, get some light in here. There we go. Before I get started, I just want to thank everyone for supporting my channel. You know, my YouTube channel truly would not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture. And, you know, the focus of this lecture is I'm going to give some behind the scene insight on what I continuously do to push and grow my channel into the next stratosphere. And, you know, just a tip for content creators, you know, one of the things I've been doing for the past almost 3 years is there's certain live stream lectures I will promote for like a month. And then when the date comes, I'm just ready to go ahead and move forward. So before I get started, again, I just want to thank everyone for supporting my channel. You know, my channel celebrated its 5-year anniversary, June 6th of this year. And, you know, I've seen a lot of growth in my channel. My channel, January 2026, made 3 years, has been fully monetized. August of 2024, my channel became eligible for major brand deals, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that. In January of 2024, my channel earned a YouTube Silver Play Button Award. And I'm gonna tell anybody, as a content creator, I work harder now than ever before behind the scene before I get in front of these cameras. And for instance, this YouTube Silver Play Button Award, like I said, I was became eligible and earned this award from YouTube January of 2024. And I'm not going to minimize this. This was a tremendous feat. Real talk, people. The stringent requirements behind this Silver Play Button Award. The Silver Play Button Award set the platform also for my channel to become eligible for major brand deals where companies and corporations seek me out to go into a contractual agreement to pay me to run their product and services and brand across their channel. You know, as a content creator, that's when you really begin to see the return on your investments in terms of an increase in your YouTube checks. And I tell anybody, there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to this if you want to do it the correct way. You know, don't pay nobody to develop and cultivate your channel. No, this is something you must do. Real talk, because if you're behind is lazy, it ain't gonna work. And I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more on. There are many awards, but I want to share with the world in terms of what I had to do to earn this Silver Play Button Award from YouTube. Yeah, this is the real deal, people. This is the real deal. And to be eligible for a creator award, you must meet the following guidelines. You must pass a specific subscriber milestone. For the Silver Play Button Award, your channel has to pass its first 100,000 subscribers. For the Gold Play Button Award, you need to pass that first 1 million subscribers. For the Diamond, 10 million subscribers. And for the Red, 100 million subscribers. Your channel must be active, meaning you have to have uploads within the past 6 months. You don't have any community guidelines violations or haven't received any in the past 365 days. You're in full compliance with the YouTube terms of service, aka those community guidelines. You have not been rejected or suspended from the YouTube Partner Program. Your channel isn't terminated or linked to an account that has been terminated. You don't have any content that is deceptive, spammy, or scam. All of your published content must be original. Your main content, that especially your main content, I keep, even on the safe side, all of my content is original. I have over 8,700 published content. I make sure all of my stuff is original. I'm not borrowing nobody else's material, the lecture, the videos in any shape, form, or fashion. I've seen people get their channel shut down because of violation of copyright laws, using somebody else's published material, published music. Make sure all your stuff is original. Keep it simple. Channels that focus on, when you start mixing stuff, you're in murky water. So when you have met all of these stringent requirements, YouTube will surface in your YouTube studio an application to make application to whatever award that you have met criteria for. And the Silver Play Button Award is passing that first 100,000 subscribers and meeting all of those other stringent requirements that I just stated. And I know many bigger content creators, they have 1 million subscribers, but they can't even earn the Silver Play Button Award because they cannot meet those other stringent requirements. When YouTube surfaces in your YouTube studio that you can make application, once they receive that application, they're going to spend a good 2 weeks analyzing and dissecting your YouTube channel under a microscope to make sure that you have met all of those other stringent requirements. Trust me. And once they have checked everything, then you will get in the mail your award recognizing all of your hard work as a content creator for the applicable award. So, and I earned this January of 2024. And I just kind of want to explain in terms of all of the stringent requirements to earn that, because YouTube didn't just give me this. No, I had to earn it. As I go further into this lecture, I'm going to talk about some things I do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis to continue to push my channel into the next stratosphere and to what has played a direct impact on my channel earning this YouTube Silver Play Button Award. Real talk, people. There's no shortcuts. Marie Holiday don't do easy. I've been goal focused since age 5, people. I've been writing all of my goals down on paper since age 5, all the way up until now. I want to talk about, in terms of, just elaborate a little bit more in relation to when my channel became eligible for major brand deals by YouTube, brand connects interchangeably. And that's a criteria for that. The channel ain't going to become eligible for major brand deals out of nowhere. No, there's steps that I had to take behind the scene to push my channel to that stratosphere of August of 2024 to become eligible for major brand deals. Mind you now, I had already earned the YouTube Silver Play Button Award. When my channel became eligible for major brand deals in August of 2024, I was already past 300,000 subscribers. Real talk, people. So you can kind of paint a picture in your mind, all of this hard work that I continuously do behind the scene to get these accolades for my YouTube channel, to push my channel into the next stratosphere. And it takes blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice, being laser focused to achieve these goals. Because if you're behind is lazy, if you're just doing it for money, you ain't no last. To participate in a YouTube Brand Connect platform, aka brand deals, your channel must meet these requirements. You got to be at least 18 years old. You got to already be in the YouTube Partner Program and eligible for revenue sharing and from ads in YouTube Premium. So that means your channel's got to be monetized. In addition, your channel can have no active community guidelines strikes, none of that in any shape, form, or fashion. And trust me, they're going to check. Your channel must also follow all of the YouTube monetization policies. You got to follow those community guidelines, the YouTube terms of service, the YouTube community guidelines, the platform policies, and any applicable terms that you agree to, including the YouTube Brand Connect, meaning when those companies send me contractual agreements, I can either accept or decline. But if I accept that contract as a content creator going into that brand deal contractual agreement, I also have to abide by those agreements stipulated in the contract if I want to get paid money by that company for them to run their product and services and brands across my channel. And I have to maintain those eligibility requirements. So I tell anybody, as a content creator, that's when you begin to see significant income in your YouTube checks from YouTube when your channel has positioned itself to become eligible for major brand deals, companies seeking you out to go into contractual agreement to pay you to run their product and services and brands across that channel. But you better make sure you're abiding by all of the YouTube terms agreement, that contractual agreement. You ain't violate community guidelines, none of that, because let me tell you something. If the channel gets shut down, guess what? You also lose those brand deals. So you got to be on top of your game. You got to know these guidelines. You got to know that contract as if your life depends on it, people. Real talk. So my channel became eligible for major brand deals August of 2024. It was already well over 300,000 subscribers by that point. I had already earned that YouTube Silver Play Button Award. And now I'm telling you, I have to make sure, I'm going to do that. I have to continue to meet these requirements in order to keep getting my money from these companies on a monthly basis, because it's an inverse relationship. Just like that company got a brand, you know what? Marie Holiday got a brand. You know, and part of my brand is my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center, which is 25 plus years old, generating revenue under my credential. And I use this YouTube platform as also a platform to market my other products, my services, my brand, my company, my book. It don't stop, people. It don't stop. But what I need the world to hear, there's stringent requirements to even position your channel for companies to seek you out to go into a contractual agreement to pay you to run their product and services and brands across your channel. I have well over 8,700 published content. That took a lot of my published content. I'm doing research behind the scene before I even get in front of this camera, preparing that lecture, get everything organized strategically before I even get in front of this camera. Just like I'm doing this lecture right now, you better believe I prepared months ahead for this. Gotten all my information together in terms of how I want to deliver this powerful free information, real talk. And we're going to go to the next one, which is I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what exactly is Brand Connect, which is interchangeable with being eligible for major brand deals. Brand Connect, and when your channel gets to a stratosphere where you're eligible for Brand Connect, in your YouTube studio will surface a tab that literally says Brand Connect. You know, my channel over 5 years old. So what I've discovered in my 5-year journey, my channel's be monetized January of this year, made 3 years. As you push your channel into different stratospheres, what I discovered, different tabs will surface in your YouTube studio. When your channel is in the stratosphere where you're earning these awards, a tab in your YouTube studio will surface for you to fill out your application to get the ball rolling to receive your award. When your channel becomes eligible for Brand Connect, aka brand deals, a tab that literally is called Brand Connect will surface in your YouTube channel so you can make application for Brand Connect. And that will open up the floodgates for any company in the world to see a certain areas of your Brand Connect kit, and they make the decision on whether or not they want to go into a contractual agreement with you. Brand Connect is a new one-step shop where top brands, top companies can reach out to you directly in your YouTube studio. And I tell a lot of content creators how they be getting scammed. If a company solicit you cold and say, I want to go into a contractual agreement with you, don't entertain that, because real companies are going to have to reach out to you through your YouTube studio. And that studio, YouTube studio, in that studio is a tab that is only surfaced by YouTube. So YouTube oversees all of that. and that'll kind of weed out those scammers. So Brand Connect is a new one-stop shop where top brands can reach out to you directly in your YouTube studio to collaborate with you on upcoming campaigns, upcoming brand deals, and etc. And how does all of this work? Brands are able to reach their target audience by working with creators like you on marketing their campaign, marketing their brands, running their product and services and brands across your channel, and they enter into that contractual agreement and they pay you to run their product and services and brands across your channel. And when your channel hadn't reached the stratosphere, then you might not be able to visualize what I'm saying. But if your channel has reached this stratosphere, you know exactly what I'm talking about in relation to when your Brand Connect tab surface in your YouTube studio. You know what these companies look for? They're looking at your subscriber count. They're looking at your content type. They're looking at what type of content are you publishing. They're looking at your viewer demographics, and they're going to match you with relevant brands that resonate with your audience. And then they will literally send you that contractual agreement through your YouTube studio. As a content creator, read it in brevity, read that contract in depth and breadth. And then that content creator can make two options. They can choose to accept that brand, or they can choose to accept that contract or decline that contract. As a content creator, I don't accept everything that's thrown at me, because I'm also looking at that company and that organization. What is their mission, goals, and objective? Because I got a brand to protect too outside of YouTube. So I'm not gonna align myself with any type of company just because they want to throw me money to run their product and services and brands across my channel. All money ain't good money, people. And for example, I don't go into contractual agreements with any kind of companies that's into selling, marijuana or alcohol or anything that's dangerous that goes against my values and belief. But if Folgers Coffee and Dunkin' Donut and Walmart and all those places want to enter into a contractual agreement, absolutely. So once you get an offer in YouTube Studio, the choice is yours to show interest and negotiate a deal. There you go. You're going to negotiate that deal. It's going to be all laid out in that contract, and that's when you enter into the negotiation phase. Real talk, people. And like I say, as a content creator, yeah, you make money off ad revenue, you make money off super chats and memberships and da. But when you begin to start making money from brand deals, where corporations are paying you money on a monthly basis to run their product and services and brand across their channel, that's when you begin, as a content creator, begin to see your monthly YouTube checks rise and rise and rise. But I'm not going to negate the fight of all of the hard work behind the scene, people, to even get to that level. Real talk. You and the brand can agree on a price together. That's all going to be stipulated in that contract. And again, the beauty of all of this, I've got many brands, and I've also declined many of them. The beauty of this is that content creator that has the power to accept or decline. And then if I accept, then that's when that company we both will be into a contractual agreement together, and that's when I will begin to get money every month from that company to run their product and services and brand across my channel. I want to emphasize that just because you receive a contract as a content creator, you got the power to accept or decline, and because all money ain't good money. And if you're just money driven, number one, your channel ain't gonna even make it to this stratosphere, because you got to be willing to do the footwork behind the scenes in order to get your channel to this level. Which that's going to lead us into the next focus of this lecture is, giving now, I'm going to begin to give the nuts and bolts on what I've done from the life of my channel. And just to point out, as a content creator, you got to publish content. You got to figure out a schedule in terms of the what behind what I do. One of the main things is I'm very strategic. I'm publishing content And when I say I'm publishing content, it could be a mixture of shorts, live streams, relational live stream lecture, just like I'm doing a relational live stream lecture right now. I have marketed this relational lecture for one month now. The time has arrived. So I'm publishing content in I can do live footage. I can do video uploads. I can do silent live streams, a mixture of everything. But I publish my content in a way where it fits into my schedule. Everybody's schedule is different. Do what works for you. I'm fully retired, but even though I'm retired, but I'm still generating money under my company, Paris and Associates Resource Center. YouTube is just something I also do and got monetized along the way. And to give you an example, within the past 28 days, to give you all insight in regards to at the level of content that I'm publishing, within the past 28 days, I have published 482 shorts. I have published 119 live streams. That's a grand total of 601 published content videos within a 28-day time frame, people. Do your math on that. That is work. 601 published content, a mixture of shorts, live streams, video uploads, relational lectures, 601 published content that I have published within a 28-day time frame. That means I had to block out time to publish those 601 content. I had to do a specific amount of research behind the scene on various topics to publish 601 contents within 28 days. That's real talk, people. In addition to performing my other tasks that I have to do under my household, keeping up with my workouts 4 days a week, keeping up with stakeholders meetings, because although I'm retired, I still have stakeholders meetings I have to go to, running the business of my household to include publishing 601 content within 28 days. And I want to also share with the world, I have been functioning at this rate, 601 published content within 28 days. I've been functioning at this stratosphere for over 6 months, people. 6 months, which requires a lot of being laser focused, research behind the scene, blocking out time, in addition to handling all of my other duties I have to handle for myself, eating right, exercising, going to stakeholders meeting, or going to the bank, running the business of my house. Real talk, people. This here, you cannot function at this level if you're not laser focused, being driven by the spirit. Real talk, people. Like I said, I've been goal focused all my life. I've been in the military. I've been retired now. September of 2020 of this year, I mean 2 solid years that I've been retired. But I still have to get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to work out first before I start my day. Rather it's duties at my household, rather it's going on a stakeholders meeting, publish my content, or anything else that I may have to do before I wind down. Real talk, people. That is the work behind the scene. That has played a direct impact on pushing my channel to the whole nother stratosphere, people. Real talk. And it made 601 within 28 days and been functioning at that level for over 6 months. It may sound like a lot, but in reality, it isn't. That breaks down to about 23 to 25 published content a day, per day, on a daily basis. And when you get used to doing it, it becomes second nature. Real talk. That's one of the reasons I have to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So that is one of the tips. That is one of the things that I've been doing on an ongoing basis, publishing various mixtures of published content. Also, I invest because you gotta spend money to make money. I'll also invest money on a monthly basis, which is a 100% business write-off, into YouTube paid advertising. That's ties into marketing. I invest into YouTube paid advertising to market my book, Awake Financial Freedom, and which has a direct impact on driving the sales of my book. Even though my publishing company hands are still on my book, they're marketing my book. They're tracking the sales of my book by the barcode. My book went through two world-renowned publishing companies, Page Publishing Company and Audio Book Network, to do the audio version of my book. So these publishing companies' hands are still on my book. They're tracking my sales. Page Publishing Company that did the soft copy of my book, the ebook version of my book, the Kindle version of my book. When the soft copies of my book run out anywhere in the world, Page Publishing Company restock those books. My hands ain't on none of that. The publishing company hands on this. I just received my quarterly checks, recorder from two world-renowned publishing companies. And in addition, I'll also spend money on YouTube paid advertising on a monthly basis to market my book, which has a direct impact on driving my sales. I spend money on YouTube paid advertising to market my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center. All of this money that I spend on marketing is a 100% business write-off. I spend money to market my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center. You know, the primary service that I provide under my company is I'm a SAP DOT evaluator. When those truckers fail those drug screens, they have to be referred to somebody like me for that evaluation to get back into compliance. I'm credentialed as a licensed clinical addiction expert in 3 states. I'm credentialed at the national level, and I'm credentialed at the federal level. I'm retired from the field of addiction, but I still maintain my credentials. So I'm generating money under my company by providing that primary service. I also do coaching services for people who want to hire me to go into a strategic, to a contractual agreement for me to develop their strategic business plan on paper. So I spend a lot of money marketing my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center, through YouTube paid advertising. And I also, which I need for content creators to pay attention to, I spend money also to market certain YouTube videos to the world. And when you're marketing, it don't matter if you're spending money on marketing on YouTube paid advertising, you know, and that's how you get customers, that's how you increase revenue, that's how you drive books to your sale, that exposes your YouTube channel, and that basically bring your product, your service, your brand, your channel, your other books, if you got a book or a company, it exposes it to the whole wide world. And that has a direct impact on driving revenue, driving sales, when people see your channel from that YouTube paid advertising video, when they view that video, if it's resonating with them, and that's going to drive that person to not only just view that video on your YouTube channel, it's going to also be a direct impact on them subscribing to your channel, watching your videos, raising your views, raising your watch hours. And how we get paid as content creators also is through ad revenue. When people are viewing your channel and those ads are running across your channel. So that's another thing I do, and I've always done that in terms of behind the scenes. I spend money on a monthly basis for YouTube paid advertising to market my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center, to market my book, Awake Freedom, and to market certain YouTube videos to expose my channel to the international level. And all of that has had a direct impact on where my channel is right now in terms of earning this YouTube Silver Play Button Award, getting brand deals. I don't even keep counting anymore. I think I'm well over 400,000 subscribers. I don't even keep counting anymore. Real talk, people. But I just want to put emphasis on that. This marketing piece is a very important piece that I've done on an ongoing basis since the birth of my channel over 5 years ago, that plays a direct impact on driving revenue in all areas. My company, my book, my brand, my YouTube channel, and I'm in retirement. Rather my YouTube could shut me down right now. That ain't gonna stop my retirement income coming from the military, my retirement income coming from the state of North Carolina. I retired from state government. It ain't gonna stop my quarterly checks coming from two world-renowned publishing companies, and it sure won't stop my revenue from under my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center. The commonality with all of this is marketing. You have got to spend money on marketing. You have got, and I'm gonna say this loud and clear, you have got to spend money. It ain't even about being a content creator. If you got a business or other product or services you must spend money on marketing. If you're a content creator and if you want to expose your channel to the world, you have got to spend money on YouTube paid advertising to market certain YouTube videos. But it ain't all about just marketing, because you also got to have the goods to bring to the table. Because just because somebody view your video, if it's a marketing video, it's got to be, you got to have the substance. You got to have the substance to bring to the table. You got to be presenting thought-provoking, educational, motivational, useful information in that lecture to the world. Or sometimes I do a coffee short. I do various different types of published content, but my point is, all of my published content is thought-provoking, educational, useful information to the world. Even when I traveled to Cairo, Egypt, and did a lot of live footage, walking inside of the Valley of the Kings, riding on the biblical Nile River, going through those ancient pyramids, that was life-changing. And I did limited live footage to expose the world on that life experience. When I was in Rome and Italy and walking inside of the Vatican, the 16th chapel, and got to see those famous paintings by Michelangelo, the Roman Colosseum, those Roman buildings up close and personal, I did limited live footage, because now YouTube now has got another tab that they have surfaced where they can earmark now certain of your videos to be for educational purposes. I got thousands of my videos that has been earmarked by YouTube for educational purposes. Just like I'm doing this lecture right now, this here is valuable, useful information for anyone who's a businessman or businesswoman. Real talk. Do not pay anybody to develop and cultivate and to nurture your product, your brand, your service, or your YouTube channel. No, you got to do this. I'm giving you free information. And you should not be paying nobody to do something that you need to do. Because ain't nobody gonna develop and cultivate and nurture your product and service and brand like you are. No, you got to do this. And I see various people on these platforms that are charging people on how to grow your channel. Really? Can't nobody think about this now. Think about everything that I just talked about. Can't nobody grow your channel. Can't nobody monetize your channel. Can't nobody get you brand deals. Can't nobody get you this. Only you can do all these things. Ain't nobody gonna publish 601 published content for Marie Holiday within a 28-day time frame, and to be functioning at this level for the past 6 months, meaning 600 plus published content functioning at this level for 6 months. Who's gonna do this for me? Ain't nobody gonna spend money on a monthly basis for YouTube paid advertising. No, that money coming out of my checking account. And all of the money I spend on advertising on a yearly basis is a 100% write-off. I mean, one particular year I spent well over $7,000+ on marketing, on ad revenue. Ain't nobody gonna give me no $7,000+. Even though I was able to write all that off as a business expense. But my point is, in one year, in one particular year, I think it was 2023, I spent well over $7,000+ on YouTube paid advertising to market my company, Paris and Associates Resource Center, my primary services, professional business coaching, the DOT services, to market my book, Awake Financial Freedom, to drive sales, and to market my YouTube channel. Ain't nobody gave me that $7,000. That had to come out of my account, which was a 100% business write-off. I say that to say you should not be paying a person to market your product, your service, your brand, your YouTube channel, to monetize your channel, to get brand deals, to push your channel to the next stratosphere. No, you got to be willing to do the work behind the scene. Real talk. So also, in terms of what I do behind the scene, in addition to what I just rattled off, this stuff is deep, people. Like I said, I have been internally driven my entire life. I have been writing goals down on paper with measurable objectives, with a projected due dates on paper, people, since I've been 5 years old. And that's a lot. That's I believe probably was born strategic. So I don't do easy in any shape, form, or fashion. Most importantly, and I'm gonna say this again, in terms of what must be done behind the scene to push your channel to the next stratosphere is it is critical, and I'm gonna say this again, and I'm not gonna minimize this. It's critical that you have a strategic business plan on paper. I have my strategic business plan on paper. I have many goals on this business plan, but my strategic business plan currently right now is a grand total of grand total of 34 pages long. And this just one folder. I have the rest of my plan in a binder. This is just recent goals, but there's a giant binder I have with other goals in there. And it's critical that you have a strategic business plan on paper. And on that business plan, it should have your goals on the far left of that business plan. And for each, the goal may be to, I don't know, the goal may be to, it ain't all got to be YouTube goal. That goal may be to write a book. So you got a goal on the left side of that strategic business plan. And in the middle of that business plan, here's a clean version, just so y'all can see. And I got, like I said, I'm at 30 plus something pages now on this particular folder, but I got a binder. But this is how a blank business plan or strategic business plan look. And as you see on the far left of this strategic business plan, you should identify a goal. And for each goal that you identify in the middle of the business plan, you need to write down in this box maybe 3 or 4 measurable objectives, action steps you must take that directly links back to the goal. And then on my far right, you need to write down the projected due date that directly ties into the action steps, link back to the action steps, and link back to the goal. And it needs to be indicated and documented on the strategic business plan. So for example, on any business plan, you should have a goal on the far left. That goal, whatever that goal may be. I don't just have YouTube goals. I'm working on goals simultaneously. You know, YouTube, to be honest with you, is more like getting in my way because my focus really needs to be, and it will be, my company. Because I have to answer to a lot of stakeholders. I do a lot of very important work that is regulated by the federal government, DOT. So I can't mess around with that. But on any strategic business plan, this is just basic business 101. You got to have this, people, if you want to see growth in your channel or in any area of your life. On the far left of this business plan, you write down a goal. That goal could be, I want to write a book. In the middle of that strategic business plan, you need to write down at least 3 or 4 measurable objectives, aka action steps that directly link back to the goal of I want to write a book. And I can remember when I was writing my manuscript to my book, one of my measurable objectives I had was every Saturday from 12 to 2, I'm sitting down writing my manuscript. That was a measurable objective for 2 hours, specific and measurable. Every Saturday from 12 p.m. to noon, I was writing my manuscript. So that was in the middle of my business plan, and that directly linked back to the goal to write my book. That book, and it took me 1.5 years to write my manuscript. And then on the far right of the business plan, for every single goal that you write down, on the far right, you're going to write down a projected due date. A projected due date on when that goal is going to be completed. And in the projected due date that I put down for my goal of writing that book is I projected that due date to be completed within 1.5 years in the future, and I narrowed it down to the month and year. So that's just a basic format on how you gotta have a strategic business plan on paper with goals and measurable objectives and a projected due date. And that projected due date will hold you accountable for what you say that you are going to do. When you have goals and measurable objectives, you can measure your progress. And because if you don't have goals with measurable objectives for every goal if you don't have measurable objectives, action steps for every goal that you write down, how are you going to measure your progress? How are you going to measure your progress on goal achievement? If you don't have a projected due date, then how that projected due date will hold you accountable for what you say that you are going to do in relation to what you wrote down on the strategic business plan. And like I said, my strategic business plan is well over 30 something pages long. This is just one of them. I have many other strategic business plans. This is just one of them that I'm showing you. But because this strategic business plan is a living, breathing document. You should be looking at this business plan, touching this business plan, updating this business plan, revising this business plan on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Real talk, people. And this is something very specific and deliberate that must be done. And especially if you are a content creator, you got to have YouTube goals on here with measurable objectives and a projected due date. That's how you measure your progress. That's how you hold yourself accountable for what you say that you're going to do. All of these accolades that I mentioned as a content creator in terms of, getting monetized, the YouTube Super Play Button Award, getting brand deals. Every single one of those accolades that I talked about was written down on my strategic business plan. And there was many steps I had to take that linked to the goal, that tied into goal achievement. And many of those steps I've already talked about, in terms of publishing my content, blocking out time, researching my content, investing money into YouTube paid advertising, being laser focused, real talk, people. And all of that is how, what I do continuously behind the scene to push my channel into the next stratosphere. And I'm going to be, guided by the Spirit. I put God first. God is in control here. I'm just a vessel. God is in control in terms of the direction of my channel. I'm strong in my faith. I keep God first. I put God first in everything I do. But on the flip side also, is the key thing too is, make sure you have a separation from your social media persona and your real life persona. That should be separate, because in reality, people, it really is business. This is a business, and you should embrace that business model. I embrace that business model, in terms of being a content creator. And it's business by evidence. At the end of the year, we get a 1099 to reflect how much we made as a content creator. So that's evidence. It's a business. It's a business by evidence. You have to abide by those community guidelines, the YouTube policies and procedures, aka community guidelines, and violate those guidelines. YouTube will shut you behind down. So that's evidence. It's a business. No different if you're a W-2 worker. That company is a business. By evidence, you get that W-2 at the end of the year to reflect your salary for the end of the year. That business is a business. Your job, by evidence, there's HR policies and procedures in place. Violate HR policies and procedures, that job will fire you. So that's another key tip. In terms of the success of my channel, is I treat my YouTube channel, I embrace that business model. I keep my social media persona and my real life personal persona separate and distinct. I do not enmesh the two. Cameras ain't rolling on Marie Holiday 24/7. I understand the tasks and duties as a content creator and the power of embracing that business model. And I understand the power of having a strategic business plan in place, which is the driving force, the success behind my channel. Real talk, people. There's no secret to this. And you just got to be in it for the right reason. All money ain't good money. You got to have a life outside of YouTube. Camera should not be rolling on you 24/7. Understand that there's a difference between your real life and your social media persona. It's two separate worlds. You know, there's a place for social media if you're going on these platforms or you're following content that's motivational, thought-provoking, educational, useful information to the viewer versus engaging or watching or supporting toxic, dramified channels where their sole purpose is to create toxic content, you know, threatening content, you know, bullying people, threatening people, and all of the stuff that go with the toxicity of a channel. To each his own. But that's just so important to understand that separation, because when you keep it separate, that plays a direct impact on the success of your channel. You know, you're maintaining that balance. You know when to deplug. You know, you can come up with fresh ideas when you're keeping that balance, and when you're deplugging and you're keeping that real separate, real talk. So this is what I do in terms of behind the scene as a content creator. But this is just one thing I do because I want to again put emphasis on I have a company to run that also generates significant revenue. My company been around for 25 plus years, long before YouTube. So I would never let my company, Paris and Associates, be second to YouTube. No, my company is first. You know, and ongoing promoting my book, Awake Financial Freedom, is first also. YouTube is an afterthought, real talk. Comes second to all of that. So again, you know, it's no secret. I've been saying this on and on and on and on again in terms of, you know, I've done many lectures on the behind the scenes tips and strategies on what I do as a content creator, what I've done since day one to push my channel into a whole nother stratosphere, real talk people. So again, I want to thank all of my supporters. I want to thank everyone who has supported my channel. I want to thank all my stakeholders. I want to thank all my brand deals. I want to thank God for giving me the knowledge, skills, and ability and passion to do what I do, to impart my knowledge onto the world, my knowledge, skills, and ability onto the world, real talk people. So that's all I have. Simplify, simple fidelity. I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.